Pasa to the pack, it's Pack here.
AKA your mama's best friend.
Today's video, we're doing more ratings and roster stuff. I want to talk about the 5 ratings I think are just straight up controversial. Whether it be one player has a higher rating than another and that's controversial, or one player that has a rating that I think is clearly wrong, or a player that I think is rated too high. We're going to cover those in today's video. Before the video starts, if you like this kind of content, please join the pack and subscribe. I do this every single day. So if you like that stuff, if you're coming by and watching every single time, why aren't you subscribed, baby? Come on. All right, and leave a like on the video to help the video grow. Let's get the video started with the first controversial topic, and that is the tie of Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday. Both are at 86 overall. Both players are coming off a championship season, okay? And both players are really good at basketball. I think there's no denying that, right? Both are great. Both are great players. But both have different strengths and weaknesses. And I don't like the idea of saying that one is not better than the other, because that's just not true. In fact, there's always a Robin to a Batman, which is Giannis, right? And this is, we had to determine who that is. And if you ask me, at the end of the season, it was Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton last season was the second best player on this team straight up. I think he was flat out easily that player. But this season, it's not that simple anymore. That's why you see a tie rating, because Jrue Holiday has been on it this season. In fact, for most of the year, Jrue Holiday has been the second best player on the Bucks rating-wise. So what's going on? Who is better? In the last 10 games, the stats are pretty similar. Middleton's averaging more points, 2 more points per game, but at the same time, his efficiency is a lot lower compared to Jrue Holiday. In fact, Jrue Holiday is being very, very efficient. Jrue Holiday averages way more assists. They average the same amount of rebounds, same turnovers, but Jrue Holiday's defense is flat out better. Now, Chris Middleton's not a bad defender. I'm not going to sit here and say that. That's wrong. Chris Middleton can play defense. But compared to Jrue Holiday, who's an all-NBA defender, I don't know if you can compare it. So, yeah, you have one player that gets more points, but one player gets way more assists. Who's the point guard, to be fair? But he's way more efficient and a better defender. This season, Jrue Holiday's been the better player. I do think when it comes to scoring and you need a bucket and it's not Giannis, I think Chris Middleton's that guy. But who's the second best player on the team? It's Jrue Holiday. It's kind of like the Raptors when it was like Kawhi was the best player and Kyle Lowry was the second best player. Like, yes, Siakam got more points, but we all kind of knew that Kyle Lowry was the second best player on that team. I think this is a very similar situation. I feel that way. Next one is with the Chicago Bulls and Zach LaVine's rating. Zach LaVine's rating has been very weird to me. Let me explain to you why. He's been an 86 overall for the past couple of years with the Bulls because the Bulls were a bad team, but he was getting good points. And the reason why he was an 86 and not higher is because we said maybe Zach LaVine is just getting empty points because we've seen players go on bad teams and go crazy. But then they added DeMar and Vucevic and Lonzo, and all of a sudden this is one of the best teams in the East. And Zach LaVine is still balling out. So why is his rating barely gone up? I mean, this is one of the best teams in the East. In fact, for a little bit, they were the best team in the East, right? Zach LaVine efficiency is insanity. He's averaging 42% from the three-point line, and he shoots 7 threes a game, which is crazy. He's actually a solid defender. He lately hasn't been a good defender because he has knee problems, but throughout the season, he was a good defender. So why is DeMar so much higher than LaVine? Yes, DeMar averages more points, but like that's it, I think Zach LaVine's a better defender than DeMar. I think Zach LaVine creates way more space than DeMar. In fact, DeMar would not be able to do what he's doing right now if it wasn't for a player like Zach LaVine on his team. I don't think this is so much of a case of a Batman and Robin as much as these are two partners in crime. And I feel like Zach LaVine isn't supposed to be too far off from DeMar. I don't think he's better than DeMar this season. I think DeMar is having an MVP caliber season. But Zach LaVine should be near him rating-wise. At least like a +1. I even feel like Zach should be like a 90 overall and DeMar should be like a 92. That's how I feel. My quick little rant at number 3 is about the Clippers. So the Clippers are the AC in the West. If there was a regular playoff series where like it used to be like the AC was the last seed, they would make the playoffs. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? Because Kawhi, Norman Powell, and Paul George have basically missed the entire season. This is a roster, a 78, a 78, a 77, 77, 77. There's no even remotely star on this team. There's no 20 point per game scorer on this team. And yet, they've been a playoff team consistently this season. Now, the coaching's been good, but to tell me Amir Coffey's the best player on the team, is wrong. I thought it was Zubac for a little bit, but the answer I think has been obvious. It's Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson should be an 80 overall, and he should be the best player on the Clippers. He showed us last season in the playoffs that he was that good. And then this season, even though his efficiency is very questionable, he is playing his heart out and leading this team in stats. He's averaging the most points on this team. He's trying the hardest. He averages the most assists, obviously, because he's a point guard. And he's trying on defense. I mean, this is honestly an underrated team. Rating-wise, one of the worst playoff teams ever, and Reggie Jackson should be higher because he's leading a team to a playoffs, and no one's talking about it. That's crazy. This is where the dislikes are going to come in, but to be honest, you can't even see the dislikes anymore, so. At number 4, it's Jimmy Butler. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad. Jimmy Butler at a 94 overall is really high. Now, I'm not saying Jimmy Butler's bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, so relax. I understand Jimmy Butler goes way beyond the stats because Jimmy Butler's a great defender and he's kind of like an anchor for a team. So he has the intangibles. I still think a 94 overall is a little high. To say that he's 3 overalls above DeMar is crazy. I think they should be similar in rating. I think him being way higher than Devin Booker is insanity because offensively Devin Booker is just a way better player and they have a better record. So, and I'd argue that the Suns have less of a roster than the Heat have. The Heat have a crazy good roster this season. He's not the best scorer on the team. That's Tyler Hero. Bam Adebayo is kind of the anchor for the defense. He's struggling scoring this season. I just feel that he should be a 92. I still think he's the best player on the team. I still think he should be in the 90s. I think a 92 overall is fair for Jimmy. And finally, at number 5, Karl Anthony Towns has the most disrespectful rating, and no one's talking about it. He's an 88 overall. Timberwolves are in a playoff position. The Timberwolves, who have never, they're always bad, right? He's leading his team in points and rebounds, almost leading them in blocks, almost leading them in steals, and is the most efficient player on the team by far in terms of field goal percentage and three-point field goal percentage, and he shoots at a higher rate than anybody on the team. And he's maybe the best defender on the team. I'm going to say something you're not going to like. How is Karl Anthony Towns an 88 and Jimmy Butler's a 94? If I would be honest with you, Karl Anthony Towns has had a better season than Jimmy Butler this season. He's been fantastic. We've always said this before. If he had a better team, he would have a much higher rating. But I don't understand because we gave Anthony Davis like a 94 overall every season on the Pelicans and they were terrible. And we're not giving Cat the correct rating he deserves. It's wrong. It's incorrect. He's one of the lowest rated players for how good he is. It's wrong. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? Is there a controversial rating that I missed? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like the channel, please give it a sub. And I'll see you guys next time.